Hey guys, we are only 10 minutes late this time, not 20 like our normal. But I'm Dennis. We got Alex. We got Dan, the man up there in the corner. And welcome tonight. Got a few things we're going to be discussing with you guys, a case to go over with you guys. For those of you tapping the screen, we're going to blame Dan for that.
Yep.
He's always up to something there.
Yeah.
And then we had somebody ask where we are out of. Megan, Christy, and myself are out of Kansas. We've got Alex, Cammy, Jeff, and Chris on the Missouri side. And we got Dan down in Oklahoma. And I'm seeing some names I don't think I've seen before over in the comments. So welcome.
Yes, welcome everybody.
And Dan let us know that most of you guys are coming over from TikTok. Dan has been killing it over on TikTok.
Yes, he is. Does an unbelievable job over there keeping the word out.
And Alex, something else about Dan over on TikTok. He is officially TikTok famous. Because where did you make it to, Dan?
Yeah, I got posted on Reddit.
Wow. Well, congratulations, Dan. Awesome.
It's not good things posted on Reddit, but I've made it to Reddit.
Wow. Well, no one will ever argue that you're not doing a killer job over on TikTok and, keeping the word, in social media about all the cases and everything that's going on. So sometimes they say any publicity is good publicity, whether it's good or bad, but just keep doing what you're doing.
When he does the Amber Alert stuff, and we mentioned Dan a lot when it comes to Amber Alerts, but regular cases too. I mean, Layla Santinello, if I'm saying that right, he has done incredible over there.
Yes, he has.
Dan, it's kind of a praise Dan night tonight.
Uh-oh. Well, Dan, do you have any updates on the TikTok side of your side of it?
No, I mean, right now we're really trying to get an 8-month-old child out into the public due to the situation that's already occurring with that case. It's not getting no traction. Kentucky State Police are refusing to issue an Amber Alert because they can't prove abduction, which is unacceptable. If you ask me, it's an 8-month-old child.
Was that the one I seen where you had made a comment earlier today to remove the photo because it was not the correct child?
Yes.
Was it the correct people in the photo, but just not the correct child? Is that why you made that comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The child in the photo is one of their other children.
Okay.
It's not the missing 8-month-old.
Then they had the wrong last name on there too, didn't they?
Yeah. It's Rudd and not Tucker. So hopefully tomorrow we'll gain some traction because I got to speak with the public information officer tomorrow at Kentucky State Police and see if I can't get them to do something.
Sounds good. Well, how has the other Amber Alerts and stuff? Is it slowed down any the past week? Is it a typical week with how many are being,
we had, I think it was 5 or 6 Amber Alerts in one day.
Wow.
Or wait, four alerts and four missing or two missing children.
Yeah. I think this past week here, over where we're at, I think we had was it two silver alerts or was it just one?
I thought we had two of them.
But and I don't know, and Dan, you can jump in on this, and I don't know about Dennis, but I didn't have an alert on my phone that went off. I just seen it on Facebook.
Okay.
And I think I seen it on the one of the news apps that does the local news around here. It's not a news station; it's just a news app, and it popped up with an alert basically saying that there was a silver alert.
Yeah. So unfortunately, silver alerts do not go out to your devices.
Wow.
Which they should, but they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, some states they might, but I have never seen one go out to the device yet.
Yeah.
Now, if you have Citizens app, you get all alerts, weather, and every type of alert possible.
That's interesting.
Now,
I think there should be an alert for everything like that. I mean, I wish things were better and it would change.
yeah, unfortunately, it needs a whole overhaul. It really does. Whether it be Amber Alerts, Silver Alerts, Feather Alerts, Ebony Alerts, they all need an overhaul.
Yes.
Now, if we could get every alert to be like the Ebony Alert for all races, that would be a beneficial alert because it gives other criteria. Say, for example, if there's a weather situation, they can issue a missing persons alert to devices with an Ebony Alert. If there's severe weather, if there's other things going on, health issues, there are so many different things to the Ebony Alert that would be beneficial to be added to the Amber Alert system. If they could just remove the proof of abduction and make it to where Amber Alerts go out to, or any type of alerts go out to the state that they're issued and every surrounding state, I think it would make a big difference because this will blow your mind. So only no more than 1,200 people have been found since they started the Amber Alert system since day one.
When did it originally start?
I believe in the 90s. Not exactly sure on the date. I'd have to look that up. But you go inside Walmart and you look at their little poster board, and their poster boards where they post the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children have brought home over 11,000 people.
Wow. So Walmart does a pretty good job with simple stuff hung up right when you walk in, and that stuff's right then and there for people to see.
Right, and we were having this discussion on TikTok the other day on what more could be done. And so we started coming up with the concepts of, how you get them receipts from the grocery stores?
Absolutely.
Who really needs the coupons on the back? Put a missing person on the back of that receipt. Or pizza boxes, McDonald's bags, Burger King bags. There's so many different ways to put missing people out there. And then I was thinking one night that if we created a magazine with all of the children in the missing and exploited children's database, because each one of their flyers has a barcode next to it. So if we created a magazine and put it at all these little truck stops, rest areas, hotels, airports, and all you have to do is scan the barcode and to find out if that person's still missing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things everybody could do as in a business owner, you know, whether it's, you know, any grocery store, any, you know, manufacturing outfit. I mean, you know, car dealerships could put missing people on their invoice paperwork, whether if they were buying a new vehicle, they were getting service work done, you know, there could be, you know, missing people on the invoices, you know, as in, you know, for that area of a dealership, you know, like we do a lot of work at the Dodge dealership in Platte City, the Dodge Ram dealership, you know, and you know that there's people, you know, all over our area that's missing, you know, that, I mean, why couldn't they do something to where, you know, there was missing people on that stuff? I mean, oh, and exactly just like our grocery store, our Price Chopper. I mean, on the back, it's got stuff for Dairy Queen and the Mexican restaurants and all this and that. You know, they could slip in missing people, you know, on there. I mean, there's so many ways, you know.
Seeing
really
beautifully blessed there. Sharing out the flyers on all of your social media platforms helps a lot. That for sure does. We've had cases where the flyers being shared on social media and on YouTube and TikTok is what helped bring those missing people home. And it's easy to do. Anybody can hit a share button. If you see a missing persons flyer, just share it. That way it spreads a lot quicker. More people seeing it, it goes further. So that definitely works.
Yeah. Yeah, there could be so many more ways. It's just, you know, one, it's a finance. Someone has to take the financial burden of having special invoices made or receipts made, you know, and it's just two, finding people who will actually sit down and entertain the thought of actually doing it, you know, and, you know, what do they have the, you know, the goodness in their heart and the want to help, you know? So it's sometimes it's a hard thing. It's a hard time getting people to want to help and do these type of things, because sometimes people look at it as, well, what does it benefit me? You know, not only is it going to cost me money to change my stuff, but how is it going to help me? How is it going to benefit me, you know, one way or another? You know, so sometimes that's a terrible thing to deal with too.
And Max says, unfortunately, there are a lot of fake missing persons flyers on Facebook. We have had some of those that we have found and have basically fought to get that fixed and taken care of. But that definitely does happen. Then you have one of our things we try to go with is the missing person has to have a missing persons police report filed, because we have had instances where it was a jealous ex trying to find somebody, and, you know, we don't want to risk that. So one of the things we do is they have to have a missing persons report filed. But there's crazy people out there that will take advantage of anything, including putting up fake flyers like that.
And I think something else too that I know we've all seen this is, you know, is on Facebook. I mean, how many times a year does, you know, a family member or a friend post something, and it's on one of your swap and shop pages that so-and-so has been missing, you know, but you can't click on it. And when you go to the person's account, there's nothing there, you know, and then you get all these people sharing this crap and it's fake. I mean, it happens all the time. So you really have to do your own homework to do your own little investigative work before you go and share something. You know, another perfect example is the guy laying on the ground cutting catalytic converters off. This thing has been shared I don't know how many times, and I will get family members, friends, and they're sharing it, you know, and they're like, oh, this guy was caught in Independence, Missouri the other day, and there's palm trees in the background. You know, it's like, come on, people, let pay attention here. Some of this isn't, you know, do your homework, you know, but I can't stand, you know, when we have these situations, but when you really try to get your, you know, your friends and your family to help share, sometimes people do it, you know, and you can't get mad at nobody for not sharing stuff, but it's like they'll just randomly see something on, the Smithville Swap and Shop or the Platte County Swap or Leavenworth County. And it's like, oh, my brother's been missing for 2 weeks and blah, blah, blah. There's no information. There's no contact. When you go click on their link, it's nothing and you can't comment, you know, and to me, it's pretty much 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10. It's always a fake scam something. There's something there that somebody's trying to scam and get away with by getting you to share it or click on it. So if it doesn't look legit and there's no phone numbers, there's no locations, there's no nothing, you know, you just got to really look into this stuff, because I think people just try to get away with scamming and doing whatever on any account if it's fake.
Yeah, and in all reality, the best thing to do is anytime you see a missing person, somebody posts about a missing person, and they won't answer the question as to what law enforcement agency it's issued out of, 9 times out of 10, it's not true. But like, for example, we had an instant on TikTok where somebody was saying that their child was missing out of Indiana, an autistic child. So I contacted the police department. Hey, Dennis, guess what police department it was? Think about it, Indiana. Think about Indiana.
Oh, wow.
Lafayette, Indiana. And
Man.
they confirmed that it was not a missing person. And yes, Summer Wells, 6 days is her 3-year anniversary of being missing.
Yeah. Well, I know there's been times where like something's come across, and I'll go to the Missouri State Highway Patrol or, the KBI, Kansas Bureau of Investigations, and I'll look it up, and there's nothing there. And I had a pretty nasty argument last year with a lady on a case, and she had posted all this stuff, and I said, she's not there. She's not on these sites. Well, who are you and what do you know and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, lady, I do deal with this stuff on a daily basis, and I can tell you right now, she is not on the sites where she should be if she is, I guess you want to say, legally missing, as is classified as a missing person. Now she might not have been seen by her friends or family for a week, and she hasn't talked to nobody, and nobody has moved to the next step of, oh, well, maybe we should report her missing, And sometimes, it's really hard, which, if our audience, and I'm sure there's some people in our audience, of course, that do work with this stuff just like we do, people can be really nasty. If you try to spread, the word about someone and you post flyers, we had a case last 7 months of a missing lady. And I had posted it everywhere in our area. And I had this woman, and I'm not quite sure what her deal was, but she cussed me out on Facebook. Why in the F would I ever, help this lady get in contact with you? And I'm like, I'm just trying to help the family. Well, then that brings up the whole question, well, what if she doesn't want to be found by her family? And I'm like, well, I don't know that. The family hasn't ever made a comment to us that she's trying to get away from her family or something. I said, so we're just doing what we can do to the best of what we know how to do, and that is help someone find someone in their family. And of course, we all know that sometimes people leave because they want to leave, you know, and we have learned that. So it's a hard way to deal with stuff sometimes on these cases, and trying to help spread the word and get the word out.
And with what you're saying there, you know, if it is an adult and we do find them and we see that they are safe, they just don't want to be found by others, be it family or somebody else, we do always respect that. The most we would tell the family is this person has been located, they are safe, but we don't have the authority to tell you any more than that, because that's what that person's wishes are.
Yeah.
Now, if we felt that they're not safe and they're not gone of their own free will, then law enforcement would immediately be called in on it.
Yeah. And I think like another one, and I'm sure you guys would back me up on this too, is someone that is left on their own accord and they want to be gone, but it's probably pretty well known that they know they are listed as a missing person, but they do nothing to reach out to law enforcement and say, hey, I'm an adult. I do not want to be at home in the situation I'm in. I have decided to move on, but they don't do that. And then here we are wasting time, or another group is wasting time trying to help locate somebody when they're technically not missing, but they are listed as missing because they won't take that extra step to just let somebody know, you know, law enforcement, that, hey, I'm not missing. I have just left because I didn't want to be in my situation I'm in. But then you have people like all of us, what we do, who is wasting time and resources when we could be working on somebody that truly is missing, you know. And I wish, you know, how can you tell people that? How can you reach out and say, hey, if you're going to walk away from a situation, please help everybody else. Don't waste everybody else's time, which it's really hard to do that, you know. But I wish people that really do remove themselves from a situation would think ahead of not only what they're doing, whether they think they're doing it right for themselves, but also the heartache they're causing other people who are really trying to help find this person. I guess if that makes sense, maybe I'm just rambling off, but.
Well, we had that case not long ago, a young lady missing, and we were able to find that she actually had went to a shelter. Mm-hmm. And we haven't released, I mean, we've spoken with the family, but we haven't released where or even locations. But it turned out that this person was trying to get away from somebody that wasn't her basic immediate family, and didn't want to come out publicly because she was afraid this person would find her and thought it was safer to be listed as missing. But being in a shelter, you know, they couldn't tell us, yes, this individual is here. And unless it's just certain circumstances, law enforcement has to have a warrant to find out if they're in that shelter. So it took some work to find her, but we did. And she went in voluntarily. She was just afraid that if she wasn't listed as missing, the person she's getting away from would find her more easy.
Yeah.
But it just, I mean, still same scenario, you know, there are steps. I mean, we talk about corruption in law enforcement quite a bit, but there are steps in law enforcement they can do to help keep somebody like that safe. So my opinion, with you, at least contact law enforcement, let them know you're safe, and leave your flyers up on social media if need be.
Yeah. I mean, we all, I would say that, you two recently have really been putting in all your work. I know Dan is on it every day. Dennis, you're on it. I try to get on it, in the afternoons or evening, but I mean, look how much time Dan spends on a daily basis. And, I could see where somebody would be upset, if you do all this work and it's like, wait a minute, why didn't you tell somebody? Why didn't you tell, somebody else in your family outside of your inner circle of your family that, hey, I'm okay. I had to get away from a situation. I'm okay. I'll let you know. I don't want to be found right now, but I am okay. Here's proof, blah, 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 blah. So, and it's sad because, you do have to treat everything as if they're missing. It's just, well, I tell you what, the ones that are fakes and scams, I wish people would just take that extra couple minutes and just do some homework and, really look into it because, you could be spreading the word about people who are truly missing, that have flyers, that have phone numbers, states, cities, everything,
Yeah, 100%. Because, I mean, with the amount of missing people in this country that go missing on a daily basis, it's insane. And to have people out there that make fake missing persons flyers, or say, for example, somebody's in a DV situation and their family members, like their husband or whatnot, whoever was involved in that DV situation, makes a post on social media, then people start looking into it. And it's kind of hard to know if you should even engage with that. See, the way I've been doing it is I will call law enforcement. As soon as I see any post on any platform, I won't make anything public about anything until after I speak with law enforcement, just to verify everything is on the up and up. Because there are so many people that post fake missing persons cases.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna go to the lake?
Did that pull up on the screen?
Yeah, it did.
Man.
I need my fishing pole.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Let me get that pulled back off. I was pulling up a couple of images I have, and it threw it right up there.
Oh, good. We're hiding, Alex.
Oh, now it's just me.
Oh man, we could have
I'll
got
get
away.
this straightened out here in a second, guys.
I mean, no matter what, to anything, we always give it 110%. Trying to look into it, trying to view every avenue, before, we move forward with something, we try to do everything we can, but, sometimes it's just terrible how bad people in the world want to do crappy things, whether they're doing it to scam, they're doing it to derail, involvement that possibly somebody had with something. It's just part of this genre of things that we're involved with, that I've learned that you got to check everything twice.
100%.
So,
Well, one case that we have that I know is real, and one I kind of wanted to discuss a little bit tonight, and that is Dana Bruce. missing out of Sedalia, Missouri. And that was actually the image I was trying to pull up. But Dana, she was 24 years old when she went missing. Went missing October 4th of 2008. And again, went missing from Sedalia, Missouri. Last seen at 11:45 p.m. at the home of her children's babysitter in Sedalia, Missouri. She was seen earlier that same evening at a Sedalia nightclub called Malone's, and she has not been seen since. Family members are worried as they say Dana was a devoted mother and would not leave her two young children. Foul play is suspected, and DNA is available if it comes to that. And I've been looking into this case, and all of this was just off a flyer that I had found on Facebook. But I've been looking into this, and what I'm seeing, I see a devoted young mother. I do not believe she would have abandoned her kids and taken off. I see stuff that makes me believe she was close to some of her family. I don't think she's going to leave them and not have any contact for this long. It just seems completely uncharacteristic for her.
Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, you got to think about it. All of her personal items were at home, her debit cards, her credit cards, her phone, the car. Nothing was with her. I mean, somebody's not going to go leave without all of their belongings.
No.
Yeah, I think in cases where you have situations where people just they have they literally vanished off the face of the earth. They didn't take anything with them. I mean, to me, those always scream foul play 100%. I mean, every single time. I mean, I know there's cases where people leave and they take stuff and they disappear, of course. But I mean, there's always something that just to me always screams foul play at 100% on those type of situations. Because, 2008, 2024. I mean, we all leave home every day with our wallet, our purse, whatever, our cell phone. I bet you there's people that leave home with their cell phone before they leave home with their credit card, debit cards, or cash. But for someone, just to literally vanish off the face of the earth, I mean, it has to be something so terrible that happened to him, was there anything? She disappeared while she was out that night. She didn't return home, but was she going back to pick up the kids before she went home? I don't remember all of that part of the story, but I think she was out at the club, or she was out with friends at the club or something. There was something where she was out, but then she never made it back to pick up the kids, correct?
Yeah, she never made it back to pick up her kids.
And then was it the next morning that the babysitter called her parents or something? Or did she try calling the kids' father? I can't remember the last part of that case. What was the transactions from her not picking up the kids to when they actually listed her missing? I can't remember.
Now, is one of the family members in the chat?
Yes.
Okay,
that would be Dana's aunt.
Okay. Okay.
I'm seeing if I can find the answer to Alex's question there.
Yeah, I don't see nothing right here that states if, would the aunt know if um the babysitter called or somebody called the babysitter? Because I don't see nothing that states.
Is the aunt, um, is she the spokesperson for Dana and the family,
Um,
or is she just the family member that just?
I definitely see more posts and comments from Ellen and then another creator.
Okay. Okay.
The babysitter called the family when she didn't show up.
There we go.
Thank you, Ellen, for answering that for us.
And Ellen, also want you to know that we're not going to stop or give up either until she is found and brought home. Whatever the circumstances are, anything, we won't stop till she's back home.
Yeah.
And the fact that she had a babysitter, a lot of times people will just drop their kids off with family or a friend or something like that. But the fact that it's a babysitter, that helps tell me this is a devoted mother, because she's not just dropping her kids off somewhere else. This is something that's planned, she's comfortable with. I just, knowing she's got 2 little kids, that's really what irks me on this one.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she was, probably a mother who loved her children and worked. And I mean, we all know every mother or father that, wants at least one night off a week to, have a break. So it sounds like things just went bad that night, unfortunately. Oh, wow.
Man.
Yeah, and she does have a tattoo. Let's see. Of a teddy bear with wings.
Her son's name?
Dylan. Yeah.
Yes.
On her upper right or left arm. She is blind in her left eye.
I remember that.
Man.
In the flyer and articles I've read, the nightclub called Malone's was in Sedalia. I don't think that nightclub is there anymore. If so, it's under a different name.
Hang on, let me look.
I know a lot of times going from Kansas City down to Lebanon or Lebanon to Kansas City, we'd always go the way that we would drive through Sedalia.
Yeah.
Then, of course, the Missouri State Fair is down there.
Yeah, we used to, when we were doing the mud race and stuff, we had some friends that lived in Sedalia. And sometimes we would race on Friday nights in one town doing the mud race. And then we would go to another area. And sometimes we would go to these friends of ours, their place. They had a shop. and we would wash the trucks and do any maintenance we had to for the next day's, races and stuff.
So what this says is Malone's Downtown Irish Pub. This location is no longer open. But on Yelp, there is a Malone's Irish Pub on Ohio Avenue in Sedalia, Missouri.
maybe it moved locations.
And it says up. Oh, no, it says closed. So that one's closed too as of May 2024.
Oh, wow. Just recently.
It says closed, updated May 2024. Now, do we know if law enforcement pulled any video footage? I know it's an old case. Do we know if they even had cameras on their property?
I haven't seen anything that mentions cameras. Her aunt may know, but I haven't found anything that would mention cameras.
I haven't either. I mean,
Well, that's one thing so many times when we do cases, that's one of the things we always look for or ask questions is there a business next door that had some type of, security system with cameras, or was there an intersection, especially if there's banks nearby or car dealerships, because they usually all have cameras and security systems of some sort, so I hear a cat somewhere. Is that your cat, Dennis?
Yeah, he's trying to get outside to where Megan's at.
So we got one. I just don't know where he's at the moment. So, and I got some babies out in the garage. So
guys, Dana, Bruce, if you have any theories, any thoughts on that case, please reach out to us. Our email and my phone number is in the video description, like always. But just what seems to be a loving mother of two young kids to go missing like that, we really need to bring this lady home.
Yes.
And
We
pull her
do.
picture up one more time.
And hopefully we get some information, and we're able to do some searches.
so they had cameras, but they claimed they weren't working. Interesting.
It seems we've heard that before in other cases too, Dan.
Yeah, it happens quite a bit. They mysteriously stop working on the day that you need them to work, but then all of a sudden they pop back up working again the following day. I mean,
Yeah.
how ironic.
Well, again, just know we'll be doing everything we can to help bring her home. And if you need anything or anything else we can do, please reach out to us.
Yes. And just something else too, like Dennis said, we have, phone numbers, emails. We also have a P.O. box. If this case, any other case, if anybody ever wants to send something, you don't have to put a return address on it. You don't have to do anything. The only thing it's going to, everybody knows that when they stamp an envelope, it tells you what area it came out of. But, if anybody ever, has that deep down inside that they need to let something out, if you don't want to leave a message, you don't want to do this, you can always send us something in the mail. You don't have to put your name, you don't have to put a phone number. You can just say, hey, this is what happened. go down the road, turn left, turn right, look over here. Anything is better than doing nothing and living with the guilt if you know something. So please,
There may be people in the comments tonight that could support this, but we keep everything confidential and would only share information as long as that source gave us permission to. The only exception, if it's something that we had to update law enforcement on, there are laws that we would have to follow with that, but we would keep everything confidential up to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, we just always want everybody to know that, there's always some way to communicate something, because, living with knowing something that happened to somebody, set yourself free. Because, I can only imagine if you knew something, whether you had a part of it or you just heard something by, word of mouth, rumors, but, I think Dan's got a pizza ready. He had to get up and leave.
So a little earlier today, Alex, you called me up and asked about some Kansas City cases that are older and not getting any publicity. And we talked about bringing those up tonight.
Yeah. So of course, we have quite the workload of cases. And how many cases do we have right now on file where one way or another somebody has reached out to us and asked us to look into it? What is the current number right now?
We are, I want to say, around 240.
No, it's more than that.
I thought we were like at around almost 270 right now.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like 260. 262, something like that.
Yeah. So, but basically
253.
253. Okay. So since I've been involved with Dennis, I've always, I guess saying fascinated, but that's not the word I want to say, but I don't really know how to explain it. But, once I started learning how to look at stuff on the Missouri Highway Patrol and the KBI, I started looking back to see how far is the oldest cases? When did they start recording stuff? I asked Dennis if it would be okay that if we shared some of these. These are cases that nobody has reached out to us and asked us to look into. This is just me looking at stuff while researching other stuff. The curiosity is, well, how far back do they go back and record this stuff? I firmly believe 100% that what I'm going to show you here in just a minute or two, I believe these are not the oldest cases. These are the oldest cases that basically are listed. So as soon as Dennis gets back, I'll show the first one. So, but I firmly believe that these people are forgotten. These cases are old enough that, there's, I'm not going to say nobody's not doing anything, but in my heart, I believe there is not. They're so old of cases. I just don't think there is anything on social media. There's anything on the news. Oh, geez. The beginning of last year, I think in January of 2023, I was doing the reports for the KBI and the Missouri Highway Patrol. I did it for quite a few months, and if you follow us and you know, I started having some issues online with people that were getting nasty with me because I couldn't pronounce somebody's name correctly. And after a while, I just kind of stopped doing it because every time I got on, somebody was ruthlessly attacking me over and over and over again because I couldn't say somebody's name right. And I was very apologetic, before it, during it, and after a person's name that if I couldn't pronounce it. And this happens all the time. I mean, there's lots of cases that we deal with that people's names are very hard to say. So anyways, I have the 3 oldest cases that are listed, and I just did Missouri tonight because I knew, we were going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So the very first case, this is the oldest listed case on Missouri Highway Patrol's website. Granted, on NamUs and the Charlie Project, there could be older ones listed. There could be other sites that has them older cases listed, but this is the very first case. So this is Phyllis Marie Corbin. And I'll try to hold this up so everybody can see it. So last known contact was November 1st, 1963. Clothing, it says unknown. She was roughly 5'5" to 5'8". Hair color was reddish brown. Eye color was blue. It says Missouri's oldest missing persons case begins in the house of Good Shepherd at 3800 Gravis Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, where she reportedly ran away to go to New Orleans. Never been seen, nothing again. So if you can see this, and I will share these on our Facebook page and stuff for everybody to see. So this is, according to the Missouri Highway Patrol, this is the oldest case. The next oldest case is Elizabeth Gill. And I believe she was only 3 years old when she went missing. So she is the second oldest case. She went missing on June 13th, 1965, and she went missing from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Her birthday was August 21st, 1962. If she was alive today, it says she would be 55. She was a female, white, brown hair, blue eyes. She was 2 foot and 6 inches tall, and she weighed 22 pounds. It said Elizabeth's photo is shown at age progression to 49 years old. She was last seen the afternoon of June 13th, 1965, in the front yard of her home in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Elizabeth's nicknames are Beth and Betsy. So once again, this is the flyer that was on the Missouri State Highway Patrol's website. And the last one, and like I said, I basically searched from 1900 to 1970. And this is the third case, and this is John Wagner. He's been missing since February 18th, 1968 from Monroe City, Missouri. Date of birth was June 27th, 1951. If he was alive now, he would be 70. He's a male, white, brown hair, blue eyes, 5'9", 130 pounds. there's nothing about where he went missing from, anything like that. So the reality is, you know, the only thing I see about any of these cases is if you purposely go look them up. You know, there's no videos being made. I do not believe. I didn't see anything. You know, these cases, you know, like I've said before, they get so far out, you know, that they fall away, and you know nobody does anything. So I'm gonna try to start, you know, posting these, you know, help, you know, just bring them back up into social media, and see where it goes. Now, I do know that the Charlie Project and NamUs, they typically will do a pretty good job of any information on the circumstances of what happened. If there was a car involved, anything like that, they usually do a little bit better job with descriptions of stuff like that. So I might be pulling these cases up on those sites too, and seeing exactly what all they show and everything. So, and every Sunday when we try to do a show, I'm going to try to do a handful of cases just to bring them back up, you know, into the world of social media.
And we do have previous videos you've done covering some of the older cases as well. It's been a while since we've had any of those, but they are saved on the channel.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was, you know, it's not that I didn't intentionally want to give up on doing it. It's just, you know, when I would do those episodes, it would take a little bit because I was doing a week at a time for each state. And it just seemed like a couple of weeks in a row, it was just nonstop, you know, verbal attacking, which I can take the verbal attacks. It's just, it was disrespectful on the part of, for the families, you know. Not everybody can pronounce or say someone's name correctly, you know.
I'm one of the worst with that, not getting them correct.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not everybody. I mean, come on now. I went to Baser Linwood. We can all joke about it, you know. So, and it's just, you know, sometimes I find a loss for the correct words to use, you know, but it's just, you know, it just seemed terrible that you know, it was just trolls doing troll things, you know, but they got pretty nasty quite a few times. So
it's sad there's people like that who do this on a missing persons case. I mean, there's plenty of other topics out there they can go troll, and these are what they choose.
Yeah. It just seemed terrible, you know. But yeah, there's, like I said, there's so many cases from basically the late 60s. It picks up a little bit in the 70s, but in the 80s, it really started picking up. And what's crazy is when you really look at stuff, you get it to a point where you get in the late 80s and the early 90s, and it kind of dropped off for a while. Because we know for, you know, talk about Randy Leach in his case, there was a time where there wasn't much going on in the state of Kansas, you know, and I believe in 1988, Randy was the only case in the state of Kansas that was listed that someone went missing. Now, 100%, you know, who knows? You know, we've heard of so many stories about people that went missing, especially in the time frame of Randy's stuff that's supposedly involvement in that case. but there's no factual evidence to back any of that up, you know. But yeah, so I would like to roll some of these cases in, you know, on our Sunday shows, just a handful at a time, you know, post them, you know, on the Facebook page. You know, I'll post them on, you know, the Little Muddy Waters TikTok page that I have, you know, but just, you know, we can never forget people, especially these ones that these old cases, you know. So if they just make it through once, maybe that's all it takes is one time for somebody that knew somebody that possibly knew somebody and said something, you know. It just takes one thing.
Yeah, that one little tidbit of information come through to blow something wide open. And it's normally the tiniest detail that you wouldn't even think of that would come in to blow something open.
That's true. It's very true.
And you mentioned Randy Leach. Early on in tonight's live, somebody, I believe their name was Kristen, asked if there was an update on Randy. We don't have an actual update on Randy. We do have several searches lined up in Randy's case that we will be getting to this year, but we will definitely keep you up to date on that. Some of these cases we will be able to film and bring those videos to you guys, and some of them we may go live while out on the search. Then some of these private property owners have asked not to film. So with those, we won't be able to film those, but we do have searches that we will be able to film and bring out to you guys. But we do have several locations to search in not only Randy's case, but many of these cases.
Yeah. Dan sent a message. Did you see it?
I didn't. Is he going over to TikTok for that?
He said his internet went out.
Oh, man.
He just lost all his signal. So I guess he did it through his phone. So.
Yeah, because I think his laptop battery was starting to die on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much work as he puts in when it comes to the research side and then coming out and getting information out on TikTok and over here, I'm surprised he doesn't burn through batteries, because that man is always hard at it.
He is. He is. I mean, Dan treats this, what we do, as a full-time job. I mean, he literally does. You know, I believe he has a good heart. He truly puts in the work, getting the word out, doing everything. So, yes.
Now, guys, make sure you do not tell Dan we're over here talking good about him right now. We don't want him to get big-headed.
No. We don't want that.
He has been a tremendous help in a lot of these cases.
He is. He does. He's pretty good.
So one of the things I mentioned not long ago is we have an event coming up in October 3rd, 4th, and 5th of this year, where we are going out to Smithville Lake, which is just north of Kansas City, Missouri. And we are going to be running sonar. It looks like we will have divers on standby and possibly even there to dive on any potential vehicle that we find. And we will try to clear this lake and recover whatever we find there. As you can see there, it is this pretty large lake. It's 7,190 acres. It's got 175 miles of shoreline. What I'm finding on Google Earth is they're saying that it's up to 60 foot deep. Now, I've been out on that lake multiple times. It's been several years ago, but we were out skiing and tubing and all of that, and they turned the depth finder on, and where we were was showing 80 feet. So, of course, the depth is going to fluctuate depending on time of year, rain, when did they open the dam, let water out. But it's a significantly deep lake with a lot of access points. There are only 5 boat ramps, but direct access from a road, normally gravel road, stuff like that, there is a lot of access points on this lake. And I was messaging with OK Diver the other day, and as long as he's available in that time frame, OK Diver may be coming up to assist on this search. And I hope he's able to come up. Great guy. He does great work. And I'd like to meet him in person and work with him. I think that we can learn a lot from him. Hopefully he'll be able to learn some stuff from us and do what we can to bring some more missing people home. Now, we don't have a specific case that we're looking for when we do this, but there are missing people from Smithville. Kansas City's not that far of a drive. Smithville Lake is one of the better known lakes in northern Missouri, at least. And plenty of access that's very secluded. So the potential of finding vehicles and helping bring missing loved ones home, I think, is really high. The Clay County Parks and Rec, I've spoken with them. They're behind us 100% on this. We will be coordinating with the Clay County Sheriff's Department and Missouri Highway Patrol as we get closer and have everything fully lined up on this. Hopefully they'll be able to come out to the lake, even assist in the search. That would be cool.
Do you think, we have some cases that we have in mind, but at this point, I guess let me back up. All the cases that we have in mind, they're all vehicle related, right? Is there any of them that are non-vehicle related, which we would there be anything? And I've been on Smithville Lake. I've been on it a couple times, but as for like driving all the way around the lake and fishing and all that, I've never done it. I had bought I acquired a pontoon boat a couple years ago out of a situation, and we went out there, and I had issues with it every single time we went out. And the very last time we went out, me and the boys and the boys' friends, we went out, and we ended up having to be towed back to the boat ramp by Water Patrol because we were dead in the water. We thought we could attempt to make it back with the trolling motor, and we didn't even make it out of the cove we were in. And we went through both batteries just trying to get back into the main channel and make it down. And then we had lost that. We had lost all lights. So we literally, we had our cell phones out and had the lights on, and finally Water Patrol came to us. We explained what happened. I had to sign release forms, and it was a lady, and she pulled us back to the marina, or not the marina, the boat dock that, we had the truck at. So after that incident, I sold the boat. I was done with it. But as for, driving around the lake, looking, I'm not that 100% familiar with it, even though I only live about 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes west of it. It's not that far from me. So I'm just curious if any of the cases there could be probable cause for us to be doing a ground search in any of the wooded areas if they have that, etc. And did we lose Dennis now? I think I might be the only one left. I think we lost Dennis now. I'm the only one left, everybody. So, yeah, so we have this event coming up, Smithville Lake. There's Dennis. I think he's coming back on. At least he's coming back on the computer screen, but not on my phone. There he is. Are you back?
Yes, it like kicked me off again, but it let me come right back on.
Okay. But yeah, I was just basically, following up that, I think you might have disappeared when I was asking. So is there any cases besides the main ones that we're focusing on, which I don't know if we've quite released all those names yet, but is there any that would want us that we need to do a ground search?
I believe there is. I know at least 2 of them from the Smithville area. I don't believe a vehicle is involved. And then Kansas City, the surrounding area, there's multiple that a vehicle is not missing.
Yeah. Because it's, Smithville is only a handful of minutes. If you're from our area and you remember where Metro North Mall was, it's 15 minutes from there, 20 minutes from there, maybe. Platte City, up where we live, if you go across, 92 highway, or you take the back roads from my house, it's 15, 20 minutes on the gravel roads to get there. If you come from up north, Kearney and, just some of those areas up there, Liberty, it's really not that far away, that way either. So, and I know we have missing people cases, all over from all these different areas. And I think we lost him again, folks. Yep, I think they're gone again. And there's no storms tonight. I don't know why anybody would be losing any signal or anything. So, but yes, so hopefully going into October, that event will take place. We will be documenting everything. Out on the boats, probably certain areas. We might have people, on the shoreline, hopefully the drones. So hopefully, we'll be able to really document all this for everybody to really, show everybody about this entire, search, exploration event, because this is really what it's going to be, because there's quite a bit of area to work and do for sure. And you're back.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. It should be good now. Should be.
Old Dano, he's really having issues. Unless something else came up, he did make it back on.
Say, I know they just, somebody in the comments mentioned that they had a young boy with autism that went missing. So if he got back up and running, he may have went over and started doing his thing on that.
Okay. Well, I'm seeing an alert on the messenger from him. It's flashing at the top of my computer screen. I tell you what, life is so much easier using a laptop and using your phone to read messages and just using the laptop to do everything else. Whereas before, when I used my phone all the time, I couldn't ever read the messages. So,
Yeah, he messaged again that his internet went out.
okay. So,
yeah, this search, I don't know if we're going to be able to knock it out in the 3 days that we have it scheduled. So this may be ongoing for a little bit till we have that cleared and anything we found in there recovered out.
okay.
That is a lot of ground to cover in 3 days.
Yeah.
So if you are a team that runs sonar, or if you're a diver, or if you're a drone operator, anything, if you want to come out and assist with this, our contact information is in the video description. Please reach out. We'll talk to you about it and see what we can do with that.
Yes.
Definitely open to having more teams come in. If you're on YouTube or TikTok, you're welcome to film for your platform. But get a hold of us and let's get this slate cleared.
Yeah. So something else that we have going on, and hopefully in the next week or so we can start, is the GPS tracker experiment in the river. I know we just had another massive rain up here, last few days, move across Missouri, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa. I'd really like to be able to do this experiment when the water is more at a normal level.
Right.
Because I would hate to. I don't know if this makes sense, but I don't want to do like a false positive type test because the water's so high and something gets lost because there's a little bit of flooding going on.
Right.
I would rather, I'd rather do it to where we're at regular height in the rivers, like at a typical time period when we've had normal rainfall, because we've just had so much rain here. I just saw a post earlier today down in I can't remember, Sturgeon, Missouri, maybe. But it's clearly everything was getting flooded. So hopefully this next week or so, if it seems like the rivers are getting back down to normal, because I go over the river every day, multiple different times in different areas, so I can see what's going on. But we definitely would like to get these experiments going. And something that I had discussed with Dennis is if the one that I think we're going to go with at this point, I don't think we're going to do the Apple AirTags, because it's just not a very accurate test. Just because the Apple AirTags will only update their position is if they have a signal off of an iPhone. It doesn't matter whose iPhone, they just have to have an iPhone signal to update. So, like right now, like all my equipment, I have Apple AirTags on, and I can see where they're at. But every time I get near them, they'll go off that I'm in the vicinity. And when I leave them, it will alert me that I've left the vicinity of where they're at. If I have friends or the kids are using something or borrowing something, it will update me when their phones get near it, and it'll update me to where it's at. So I just don't think we're going to go with that by any means. At first, I was thinking that was the way to go, but the more I've learned about the Apple AirTags and how they work, it's just not worth using them. So, but what we were basically going to go with is the one I think we're going to go with. We have to make an account. We have to set everything up. Of course, we have to link the GPS units to the account. And I think what we would like to do, if possible, is be able to provide everybody somehow to where everybody can watch this stuff on their own live. I don't know if we need to, and I'm not all computer savvy, expert, smart by any means, but if we can somehow have it to where the audience can go to a link and watch this stuff live at any time anybody wants. So if we're on right now and we go live to the website that shows where something's at, everybody can see, okay, well, this is in this area right now. It's right here. Well, let's just say that, Bob wants to get on at midnight and he just wants to go see where everything's at, see how far it's traveled, if it's moved, whatever. We want it to be where somebody can go look at it themselves. So everybody can be a part of the experiment at any given time, just not when we give updates. So that is something that we're going to be working on, trying to see if we can make that happen. So that is definitely, that's getting pretty clear. I just been holding off. All the storms have stopped, and because like I said, it's literally been raining. It seems like every couple of days we've been having rainstorms and rain. And I know up here we've all been mowing the grass. It seems like almost every week. That, and then of course, we'll throw it out there that, we had discussed about doing the DNA stuff, that if anybody, has a family member, it would really come down to cases with younger children that went missing. And if they have not done any type of DNA stuff, we know that anywhere and everywhere, law enforcement has asked for a DNA sample. But, a perfect case to, hypothetically talk about would be like a case like Jeremy Coots's case, where, a young child, or even Elizabeth Gill, this little girl that went missing in Missouri, back in the late 60s. Well, actually, 1965. She was 3 years old. If she has, brother, sister, just depending, and very possible, her mother and father could possibly still be alive, because she's only today, technically, somewhere around 55. But if, that would be another case, hypothetically, where if somebody would possibly want to do their DNA and do something on Ancestry.com or 123andMe or whatever the other big one's called, where we could possibly see if, somebody will show up, that maybe somebody did their DNA and they were, possibly taken at a young age, and now they're grown up. And, we've all heard of cases where children have been abducted and they were supposedly, given to a brother or sister that couldn't have kids. And basically there was a lie that, oh, well, I went and did this for you at the adoption agency, and, here's your, your son or your daughter that you couldn't have. So, I would like to be able to, if we would like to be able to help a family if somebody was interested in doing that and helping pay for the DNA stuff and help, set up one of these accounts to try and see if by chance, you never know. I mean, like we always talk about, you have to look at every possible avenue or view when one of these situation happens. So.
And that could definitely find answers in some of these cases. And I just think, especially when it comes to the younger children that go missing, we hear on the news all the time, kids taken from here and basically sold to people elsewhere. And that is a good way that in the future, as the child gets older, their DNA gets put on file to find them that way.
Yeah. I just think that, we've heard of these cases, we've heard of this stuff in the past. I mean, I remember hearing cases. It doesn't seem like it's happens as much as it did in the 70s or 80s, but I mean, how many times did you hear cases where somebody went in and stole the baby in the hospital, where the newborns were at? I mean, I think that happened quite a bit in the 70s, early 80s. Granted, security was not saying it was non-existent back then, but it's definitely nowhere what it is now. Did hospitals have cameras in the 70s, like they do now? So, it's just, an idea. We want to throw it out there. That if there's a family that wants to do this, that's never done their Ancestry.com charts, that we would be more than happy to pay for this and help a family get started, get a DNA test sent in. We can help, set everything up and monitor it and help them, especially, the young children and the elderly parents. I work on my ancestry stuff every day. Gunnar says 23andMe. That is the other one. So I am completely fascinated by all of this. I've made it back to like my 25th great grandfather. On both sides of the family, I've made it, and I still have more to go. And I've actually done my DNA with Ancestry.com. My first kit was lost in the mail. So then they sent a second one, and I sent the second one off, and then they alerted me that my DNA sample was not good enough. So then they sent a third kit. So I just did the third one, and they are processing it right now. So I'm excited. I know a lot of stuff in my stuff. I'm excited to see where it truly will go once it finally hits. So Gunnar, how was your experience with the one that you chose? I see that you did it and you were trying to find your biological father. So how did you feel it worked out? And did you do the Ancestry.com stuff too, and you just chose the other one? Did you do both, or just, I'm just curious. If you can respond to us, that would, if you can, great. Because I've ran into a lot of people who have done it, and then I ran into a lot of people that I think they go down that deep conspiracy thing that they're like, oh, I don't want to give my DNA up, so I'm just curious.
Okay, Gunnar says he didn't use Ancestry. He went through 23andMe.
Okay. My mom did it also. there was a really good little documentary. It was either on Netflix or it was on Prime, Amazon Prime. And it's about a guy and his brothers and his mom and dad. And his mom and dad, basically, they were at that age and they were dying. The brothers just didn't feel that everything was right. And they did the 23andMe scenario. And the first brother did it, and he found out that his dad was not his biological dad. And so he didn't know whether to say anything to his parents, so he didn't. And then he talked with his brothers, and then his brothers, they all end up doing it. And then they all found out that the dad was not their dad, but they all three had different dads. And then as they did all this, they had found out that the mother was basically going to a place and she was artificially being inseminated. How do you say that? So they found out through all of this that there was all these families that all in this area, all these women's husbands could not have children. So they were going to this place and being artificially inseminated. And there was a doctor who was going to medical school and he was doing the donating. And back in the 50s or 60s, he was being paid like $2 a sample. And it was a really crazy story about how these people, were finding out their DNA and their history and stuff. So, oh, wow. So you found a biological cousin from your father. And your mother was your mother. Well, at least, I'm glad you were getting some answers that, you were probably curious and searching for sure.
And hope you're able to find your biological dad.
Says biological father's side of the family had a crazy story. Wow. But yeah, if there's, if anybody knows of a case, of a situation, and they want to let us know, and or they have contact with the family and could possibly want some help, please spread the word. And if we can help out, we would love to, try to provide some answers possibly.
And so going along this side of this medical type of stuff, I do want to say tonight, the team knows some of the searches that we have scheduled with family members and stuff. I've updated them. There is going to be a few weeks that I will be down, won't be able to go out boots on the ground. Found out the other day. I do have to have a small surgery, but it's got a pretty lengthy downtime. My doctor was saying 6 to 8 week downtime, but on the 18th of this month, I go in to see the surgeon and we'll know for sure from him what we're looking at. I know others who've had similar type of surgery. It did not take 6 to 8 weeks to be back on their feet and around. So I'm hoping 2 or 3 weeks tops and be back to normal. But there will be a couple weeks that I won't be able to go out to do any searches. But any searches that do come up that needs to be gotten on, Alex has proven himself very good out boots on the ground, and without a doubt can handle that. So there'll be a few weeks I may be down from physical searches, but obviously I'm not going to stop working on these cases, lining up more locations to search, and then hit the ground running again. So just a little road bump.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's you can get through this, and hopefully your recovery is, quicker and doesn't drag out, and like you
The
said,
hardest part is going to be getting me in there because I don't do well with doctors and hospitals. But once I'm in there, it should all go smooth.
once you get past the lights out, it's all good, right?
Right. And biological father and all of his siblings were given up for adoption. Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Ooh.
Thanks, Gunner. I'm sure it will be. It's nothing major. They do these over and over every day, so it should go smooth and in and out. I get to come home the same day, so that's a bright note.
Yeah. Well, just take it easy and, of course, do what they tell you to do. So hopefully, you get through it and you're home that day and you're all chippery and all that.
I barely ever take Tylenol or ibuprofen or any kind of medication. So they do have to put me completely out to do this. So I'm sure I'm going to feel the effects of that for a little while once I'm home. Probably get a good night's sleep that night.
Yeah. Whew. Well, what day are you going to talk to the surgeon?
On the 18th.
18th. Okay. Well,
I let them know at work what's going on and going in, and we have a meeting in the morning. I will be going into and
yeah.
making sure they are up to date, but they're being incredible with this, and so looking forward to this being done and over with.
Good deal.
Poor Megan's going to have to take care of me a little bit for a couple weeks, but I'll see if I can't drag this out a bit. At least till she starts smacking me around, telling me to get up.
Oh, no. You don't want to get in trouble.
No. She might hurt me worse than what the surgery will.
Yeah.
No, I got lucky with Megan. She's the best. You can't hear me, Megan, can you? Yes. She heard that. I bragged about you, so that's good points, right? Yeah. There we go. Mac Randall Jr. says, milk it, Dennis, LOL. No. Megan says no, and if I do, she'll just send the kids in there, and they're going to jump on me, so.
Oh, you don't want the kids jumping on you.
Yeah. and I'm glad I'm going to have stuff to do to stay busy, lining up search locations and stuff like that, because I'm going to go crazy not being able to get up and get out for a few days like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want the kids jumping, and not the dogs either.
Right? Surprised they're not in here right now. I had one of them behind me for a while.
I did. We saw her.
That's our new one. We adopted her from animal control here not too long ago, and she's just been a good fit. Come right in like she owns the place and listens very well. We can let her in the backyard without a leash with Tex. She'll come right back in, and
man,
been a really good dog.
I wish one of mine would act that way. She does not act that way whatsoever. She tries to be all sweet and innocent, but the other 99%, she's out of control.
Oh, man.
I thought by now she would be on the downhill slide to start slowing down like they should, and she's not. So, not at all.
So, guys, again, we want to make sure we keep the open invite out there. If you have a missing loved one, or if a friend of yours is missing, or if you are somebody who works on missing cases or missing persons cases, and you want to come on a live feed with us and discuss that case and have the open discussion with everybody, reach out to us. Again, contact information in the video description. We will get that scheduled and bring you on live and discuss that case. As long as there is a Muddy Waters, there will always be that open invite.
Yeah.
And even if for somebody that just watches, channels like ours, and you want to come on live and discuss one of the cases, reach out. We'll bring you on.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Dennis,
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So, another page that I follow, they're actually I think they're in Utah. They're a Bobcat dealership, and on Tuesday nights they do tech talk, and basically people will message. Well, they recently introduced a phone. They have a phone line now, and they can answer the phone line. I don't know if they're answering it through the laptop or however they're doing it, but they can actually answer live when people call in. Then they actually talk like they're on the phone out loud and ask questions. And then when they're done, they hang up, and then the phone rings again, and they answer it, and then they discuss it live instead of people all, typing questions or stuff. But do you, what if we were to look into that possibly?
That would be awesome.
I'm not sure what, I guess we can look it up, or I guess on Tuesday when they go live again, I can hop on there and ask them, what setup are they using to do this? And that way we might be interested in trying it on our channel. And we can put it out there if people want to call in and, discuss a case or bring up something respectfully, because we do have families with children that do watch our shows. That might be something we could possibly do. So
that would be cool. And then we can have a dedicated night that's just a Q&A, question and answer night.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of possibilities with that. It would be great. It would open up discussions more, and may, again, find that little tidbit of information that blows one of these cases wide open.
Yeah. I mean, for all I know, they could just have a cell phone right next to the computer, and they put the phone number out and people call it, and then they just click and answer it. I mean, that maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. So,
hey, worst case scenario, we could do that. I've got a podcast mic I can plug in and have it sitting right there by the phone, and somebody call, have it on speaker, bring them on. And so worst case scenario, we can go that route.
Okay.
We could definitely figure this out.
Oh, yeah. One way or another.
But if we do, Mac Randall Jr. has to call in.
Yeah. Mac.
I'm putting the challenge out to you right now, Mac.
Mac and Gunner and, you know who we didn't see tonight? Oh, Catfish. Yeah.
Say he messaged me the other day, and he's getting better, doing pretty good. I know there for a while it was pretty scary situation, but he's doing pretty well. This was a few days ago or so. I let him know that I was going in to see the doctor, and he said that I need to not be like Kim and Alex. I need to stay away from doctors.
Yeah.
But he was doing pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to move to Hawaii in the wintertime because, you know, I know a lot of people, you know, you want to go down the old, I don't know the word you want to say. You want to go down the conspiracy theory about COVID and how people got sick and didn't. But, you know, I spent time in the hospital. I truly thought I was going to die. And, you know, I was so sick, and the amount of antibiotics and crap they put through me. To this day, I still pretty much do not have any type of immune system. So the slightest thing makes me sick. You know, if I get the sniffles, I get sick. And it's not like sick. It's like it wipes me out, like where I can't physically move. I can't do anything. And it's just, you know, I don't know, this past winter and spring, it hit me so many times. You know, it's like it's just like, it seems like every other week I was just getting sick, and I could not get away from it. So I just, you know, I'm just ready. I just don't want to be sick anymore, and I hate it, you know. And you know, I've went through. I had, you know, I almost died from blood clots because I had shoulder surgery, and I ended up with blood clots, and I should have died. 100%, I should have died. I had multiple DVTs in my leg, and when I went to the hospital, I had lost my vision. I was in complete respiratory failure, and they counted over 100 pulmonary embolisms. And I'm a big guy. You know me, you know I'm a big guy. And they said I absolutely should have died. So, yeah. Being sick, being in the hospital, that's I'm over it. I do not want to deal with it. So, but
Mac says he's never had COVID. Mac, I've had enough COVID for the both of us because I tested positive is either 6 or 7 different times.
yeah, you had it twice. I had it twice. The second time wasn't really that bad, but they put me on, I believe it was called Paxlovid. And that's because if you've had blood clots, they don't want you to get blood clots. So they put me on Paxlovid, and it really, the second time wasn't bad. The first time, like I said, I really thought I was going to die. I lost like 35 pounds in like 2 weeks. You know, I came home on the oxygen machine. I had, oh geez. I'm trying to think of the other thing. But it was absolutely terrible. It was terrible. You know, and I knew other people that, you know, lots of people didn't get it, you know, so. But Bobby had some, you know, Catfish. He had some issues with blood clots, and he's been working through them. So, you know, no, it's just, I wish we could live in a world where nobody got sick.
So Lisa in Boot Hill's asking, may I ask, have there been any updates on Mark Fullerton? I'm in Dunklin County and haven't heard anything. I wouldn't say any updates, so to speak, but we do have locations of interest in Mark Fullerton's case. And we will eventually, when we can, be back in the area and getting those locations searched. Mark Fullerton, this is the case that Alex and Tammy and a couple of their friends drove down there and literally dug up a property. And unfortunately, no answers were found, but we do have other locations of interest that we do plan to get to. That's another one of those cases that we should probably do an update video on and go over that case some more.
And the downfall to Mark's case is we were basically on a weekly, what's the word I'm looking for, Dennis? Communication. We were on a weekly communication with Mark's aunt, and sometimes his father. And now that they have both, unfortunately have passed away, that basically leaves us with Mark's mother and his stepfather. And I do not have, fortunately, I think maybe, does Dan have Mark's mother's phone number? I
believe he does.
Yeah, I think Dan has talked with Mark's mother a few times. But our main communication was with Jenny, and Jenny passed away first. And she passed away, it was about 3 months after we had been down there.
I believe so. It wasn't very long.
2 or 3 months. And then Mark's father passed away 3 or 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago. So yeah. And of course, that's, we worked with Jenny so much, on a weekly basis, and when Tammy and I and the other ones that went with us and we went down there, we were down there with them that whole weekend. Jenny, Mark's dad, and Mark's stepdad. And now it's just, the main goal has not changed. It's just working with everybody again and starting over on how we work with everybody, and we do what we, starting over again, communication wise, it's not going to reach. What about now? Sorry,
There's a plug right down there at your feet.
Oh, hopefully it. Ooh.
That's right. You tell him, Tammy.
I cannot believe he goes live with all this mess back here. Do you know how embarrassing that is?
That big round thing that you bought, did it have a green screen with it too? That big round light you bought like at a garage sale or something?
I sold it at the last garage sale. I want it.
Not that I didn't want it.
I got it for you because I thought you might need it. But
Well, yeah, if I had a green screen, I could be
I
somewhere.
don't think it was a
I
green
can
screen.
be somewhere on the beach right
We're
now.
not live, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And we just discussed how we're bad pronouncing names, and this is one of those names I won't even try. What I can say is we do have a case that we're working on, and we have search locations for. Could could be some type of mob hit. That's what is rumored. That's also what some in law enforcement believe. And this one's going to be interesting. Yeah, there's some things that we can't say or discuss. Someday we'll be able to, and that will be interesting. I think you would really enjoy hearing it. Obviously, wish circumstances are different, but yeah, right now the most we could say on along those lines is potential mob related disappearance type thing.
Yeah. I think there's quite a few cases in the Kansas City area that are mob related, that are on the KBI and on the Missouri State Highway Patrol. So, can you plug this in for me?
You have a case where once we've got GPR, we can do a lot more on it, but it's potential. Well, I don't even know if we'd say potentially. We believe that it is linked to a serial killer, possibly a couple different cases. And this is the case that we believe there could be upwards of 25 other victims located in or around the same area as the person we're looking for.
Yeah. Well, you know, back in the day, there was so many possible, you know, that there could be serial killers, you know, and there was quite a few situations in the Kansas City metro area for quite a while that was turning up that way. You know, we heard things that certain areas were dumping grounds, you know, for gangs. You know, and you know, we had one case that we checked out because we were told it was a dumping ground, you know, and you know, that situation 100% looked real, you know, just by the images that we had pulled, which looked like there was a body, you know. And then when we actually went and did the drone work, there wasn't anything there. So we don't know, but it clearly looked like there was somebody caught up in the creek with a tree that maybe had fell over and the body was washing down the creek to the river. And it clearly looked like, you know, a shirt, jeans, tennis shoes. And then when we went out there and did all that, there was nothing there. Even the tree that was laid across the creek had finally washed down and, you know, moved away. So
that was surprising. I thought for sure something was going to be found that day.
Yeah, I did too. And, you know, it was just like, what, wait a minute. There's nothing there. Where'd it go? You know, it was so, you know, it just looked like we were going to find somebody, you know, just kind of like, go ahead.
That's just like that couple in Atchison. We had the image off of Google Earth that looked just like a vehicle underwater. The measurements were identical to the vehicle they're missing in. And when we got there, the water was down and it was farm equipment. I mean,
yeah. And
disheartening, frustrated, but.
And what's crazy is when you looked at that image, it clearly looked like a hood, a windshield, a roof, a back window, and like a trunk lid. And when we got there, it was some old, what was it? Was it a old
His old Thrasher, I believe it was.
an old threshing machine or something, or some really old piece of hay equipment? And it didn't look nothing. I mean, there was no way when you looked at it, it could have resembled what we saw on the Google Earth image. And it's like, how in the world did that even make sense? And I mean, we literally walked it foot by foot, GPS right to the image that was in the water. And there, I mean, it was dry. There was no water.
Yeah.
It was dried up. But we walked, which would have been multiple 5, 6, 8 feet underwater, maybe 5 feet underwater at that time. We walked right to it live using, our phones. And I just to this day, it still baffles me how that image was that piece of equipment. It just doesn't seem how it could have. I don't see the reflections, the shape of it, anything. So
If you look back through our videos, you will find one that's titled something like, "Is this a vehicle?" or something like that. Check that one out, because that one we pull that image over on the video and you can see it. And I know when we showed that, everybody was coming out saying, "Hey, that's a vehicle. You guys need to get on this." I mean, we even stomped the ground and everything around it to make sure nothing had sunk down. I mean, that was very surprising.
And what was crazy is the other reasons that we thought, wow, this is where they're at, we're going to find them, through some open source investigative work, we had found out that somehow the people that owned that land on that side of the water there was enough connection through family friends of the children or grandchildren that they were friends on Facebook. And so we kind of thought, well, wait a minute, if these people have all been friends, through the family for some time, and maybe they all went fishing there, it wouldn't be nothing for them just to drive back in there and just drive right off into the water, right off the farm field bank edge. So, but yeah, that was our first outing with you all, me and Tammy.
Yeah.
Man, I thought we're really going to find these people today. This really looks promising. So,
Hey, you got broke in good on that one, though. That swampy area, that tall weeds, taller than us, we're having to go through.
You and I did a lot of hiking that day.
Right.
We really did. So we did a lot of tromping. We was up and in and over and down and back and up and over. So, and it was hot.
This comment, I'd love to see you all collaborate with Adam and Jeremy. Adam and Jeremy, this is they have another channel name now, but Exploring with Nug, Adam Brown Adventures. Then I can't think of their other one. I follow it. They have been hard at it recently, and we would not be against working with them on a case.
Are you talking about the younger guy that's with them? Depths of History or Depths of something?
Depths of History, that's Britain.
Okay.
Adam Brown's the guy that goes around in the tow truck with Jeremy from Nug.
Okay.
Wrecked and Recovery, that's it. Thank you, Mac.
Wrecked and Recovery.
Yeah, that's the name of their channel over there now. I don't know if it's a new channel or if they changed the name, but that has both of of them on it. They work very well together
Yeah.
and really balance each other out. They both have their own strengths and weaknesses, and they've really made a good team there working together.
Yeah. Man. It's just crazy the amount of people that, you know, that are doing this, and that, you know, blessed that they, these people have it in their heart to do it. We all know there's certain other situations that have not gone the way they should have over the last year and a half, whatever it's been. But, we're so blessed to have people out there, besides us that, are doing this and, trying to help these families, get some kind of resolution, something for what's happened in their families and in their lives, for sure.
And, I had somebody at work ask me the other day, they said, who is your favorite TikTok, YouTube, social media? Who would be your favorite team that's out there? And I told them, I said, when it comes down to it, I've got to say the team that I work with, because, you guys are incredible and I really enjoy working with all of you. My weaknesses, you guys have strengths in that, and vice versa. But when it comes to picking other teams, I would have to say my favorite team that does the searches, it would probably be OK Diver. Now, that may be a little bit biased because we are in communication with him. We talk back and forth. I just like who he is as a person. Then when it comes to advocating, going beyond Dan's a Missing in America on TikTok, I would have to say Kansas Missing and Unsolved. And I have spoken with both Derek and Ricky multiple times. Really like who they are as people, individuals, big-hearted, doing everything they can. Those I would have to say are my favorite. And again, it may be biased because I do talk with them, but I don't have anything that I would say, especially something to talk publicly about. I don't have nothing bad to say about any team that's out there, doing the searches, or any team or person that's bringing these cases out to the public. I don't have nothing bad to say about them, simply because they are bringing attention to these cases. They are looking for these missing people. And I think we need more of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there'll ever be enough people who are looking for missing people.
No.
The only thing, I don't know how to say this the right way, but I think, was it the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department, or was it Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas City, Kansas, that got rid of their missing people's department?
That was Kansas City, Missouri had gotten rid of it, but then they finally brought it back.
Okay. I would hate for police departments to get rid of their missing people departments if they ever thought there was enough people doing it like us that they didn't need it. I guess that makes sense.
Yes.
I would hate for them to just be like, oh, well, why should we even be concerned when there's all these private people out there doing it full time? They're the ones calling us and telling us what we need to be looking at or doing. I guess it's an odd thing to say. I would hate to see, them. I guess it would be like if you made a, what do they call it? A pub, what is it when you can actually arrest somebody?
Oh, a citizen's arrest.
A citizen's arrest. What if there was enough people doing citizens arrest that one day they're like, oh, well, we don't need the police no more. We have enough people doing this. We just need a judge and the prosecutor and whatever, and a sheriff. That's all we need. We have enough public people that can do all the legwork. Why do we need to do it? They do it for free, So I would hate for something to happen because, we do need the police. We do need, the detectives and all this, because that's part of solving all of it and doing all of it. So
see, here's where that comes into play. We need law enforcement because there's things that they can do that we cannot do. But when it comes down to it, regardless of what some of them seem to think, they need teams like ours and Jeremy and Adam and OK Diver. They need us as well because there are things we're able to do that they're not able to do.
Yeah.
We're able to gain access to some places they're unable to gain access to.
Yeah. And I really believe that today's day and age of everything that's happened in the world, that they don't have all the resources or the manpower, to do everything. If anybody's out doing a search and they find a car and they send a diver down and they're like, oh, well, this is the tag number. I mean, we've all seen this 100,000 times on YouTube. How many times has there been situations on YouTube videos where they're like, well, we don't have a dive team. Can you guys go down and rig it up?
Right.
Can you go back and verify? Well, we already verified there is remains in there. Well, can you video this or do this? So, I mean, 100%, not every department has every way to do something. They all don't have dive teams. They all don't have all the gear needed to do this. It's very evident that the majority of them do not have the latest and greatest sonar stuff, which was everybody's using. So yeah, I mean, it's just, I wish everybody would work more hand in hand, helping each other on a day in and day out basis. I do wish that.
Because we all have the same goal, and that is to bring these missing people home.
Absolutely. So, absolutely.
So, guys, with that, thank you guys for joining us on here tonight. Seems like it's been forever. It's really nice to be live with you guys again. Hopefully it's not this long for our next one. And if you have a suggestion of a case you want to see us cover on our next live feed, reach out and let us know. Actually, what I'll probably do is do it as a poll and put a poll on YouTube and a poll on Facebook. And I will list like 10 or 15 of our cases. And the one that gets the most votes, that'll be the case that we jump in and discuss on our next live feed, kind of like we did with Dana Bruce tonight.
Sounds like a good idea.
If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. YouTube, if somebody subscribes but they don't like a video or comment on a video, YouTube likes to kick their subscription out. So make sure to like and comment, turn the notifications on. There's other videos that's going to be coming out soon. You're not going to want to miss those. And thank you guys for being on here tonight. And Dan, we're going to have to get Dan a new battery for his laptop.
We gotta get his internet working.
And where's Bobby Kennedy? He he didn't make it on tonight. It's been a couple days since I've talked to him, and he was doing better from a lot of the medical issues that he had been going through. So he's been doing better, hopefully continues to do better. And I'll make sure to let him know that you were asking about him. And Lisa and Boot Hill, thank you all for searching. I wish I could help, but I have health issues. Well, we're going to film every search possible that we can and release that footage out. It's going to be raw footage. You're going to see it as we see it. And that allows you to put your eyes on it too, in case we miss something you happen to pick up. So in a way, you will actually be joining the search on that. Cam, yes, it has been a while. So guys, Alex, you have anything else?
I just thank you everybody that joined us tonight. We definitely appreciate it. And like Dennis said, please like, share, subscribe, share the videos, help spread the word, because the more that everybody does, it's just one little thing that just helps one little bit just to get closer to helping solve something and bringing something home. Sometimes it just takes just a little bit and something can be turned around in an instant, and bring closure to a family. So, please like, share, subscribe. If you find it in your heart that you would like to ever donate to one of our GoFundMe pages for all the different things that we have listed, we would be so blessed and grateful if you did. And once again, if we have a phone number, we have an email, we have an address. You have multiple ways to reach out to us. And, like I said earlier on in the night, if you know something or if you've ever heard something, you can always write a letter to us. You don't have to sign it. You don't have to put a return address on it. Get it off your chest. We are 100% confident. I can't say the word. Help yourself sleep better at night. If you played
help that family out there, family that's suffering right now, help them bring their loved one home.
Yeah. So, but just thank you for being here tonight and, being with us, all of you that have stayed the whole time. Thank you very much.
And Mac, we really appreciate you. Some of your newer people may not know, but Mac Randall Jr. has been a part of our Muddy Water family since very early on when we started Muddy Waters. Really appreciate this guy. And Megan wanted me to make sure to remind everybody her Crooked Trail Designs, keychains, jewelry, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, the whole works. The link to her, it's on Etsy. Her Etsy link is down in the video description. A percentage of all of her profits is donated over to Muddy Water Search and Recovery to help us with our efforts. Any of the Muddy Water t-shirts, 100% of that comes into Muddy Waters as well. Then I see another comment, I'd love to help, but I live kind of far away. When we release these videos of our searches that are raw, again, you'll see it as we see it. It allows you to get your eyes on it in case we happen to overlook something. I don't care how long a team has done this or how good they are. There is going to be a chance that something is overlooked. It is going to happen at some point. We're all human. and it happens. So doing this allows you to put your eyes on it. And in a way, you're on that search with us by doing that. So we've got you. So,
Yeah.
guys, with that, again, thank you. Thank you for coming on tonight. Always a pleasure to have you guys over here and talk with you guys. And it won't be the long stretch of time until our next one.
Yeah.
So with that, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Stay safe. We will see you guys down the road.
Thank you.